Paid for and approved by Paula Lewis, Democrat, St. Lucie County Commission, District 3. Imagine a place free of problems, scams, and thievery. A place where comfort is your only concern. Imagine Comfort Time Live.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Comfort Time Live. I'm Tom Platania, your host, and as you know, Comfort Time Live is here to serve you, the public, to make sure that we help educate you, provide protection against unlicensed activity or less than honest licensed contractors, but also give you some helpful tips and tools to better the energy savings in your home, comfort, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, you name it. We talk about it here on the show. So if you have questions or comments, give us a call at 340-1590. And got a new laptop, so we may have some technical difficulties online, but we'll see. If you're listening online and you hear anything out of the ordinary, hey, give me a call so I can fine-tune it. But don't forget, you can always contact me at ComfortTimeLive@gmail.com. Like a lot of our other listeners do, they email me with questions, comments, suggestions, topics for shows that they'd like to hear, which is very important to help keep the show going throughout the weeks and months and years. Is without the topics that you provide, I have to, kind of go out and find my own. And, not necessarily are they always going to be the topic of choice for that week. So if you're calling the show and or you're emailing me at ComfortTimeLive@gmail.com, and it's something that I know you want to hear, then obviously it's going to be a good topic for the show. And we had a lot of great calls last week. Now, due to the, I guess you could say, cold snap, today we're gonna kind of revisit some of our discussions regarding heat pumps, efficiency on heating. Maybe some of you may have turned that heat on and kind of recalled that. I forget who sang that song, but ooh, that smell. Who was that? Come on.
Leonard Skinner.
There you go. Leonard Skinner. When you turn on that heater for the first time, you're going to get that really bad smell. And that basically is just because of all the particles and whatnot that have built up on top of the heater element and just cause it to, smoke a little bit. Now, if it lasted any longer than a couple minutes, then you probably should have called someone to take a look at it.
Well, the temperature in my house went down to about 70, and it was, much cooler outside, but it was still damp. So we did pop on the heater just for, a few minutes just to pull that humidity out.
Yeah. It was still humidity.
It felt damp in the house. Yeah. It was cool.
Last night, right?
No, this was the first night that it got cold.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the air is back on in my house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, last night, me and my daughter were in the house, and we opened up all the windows, and I made dinner and whatnot, and we're like looking at each other. We didn't even have to say anything. We just looked at each other and go, air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it just gets to a point that even though it's 70-something degrees outside, the humidity is just it's just nasty.
It feels damp, yeah.
Yeah, so
and that's not comfortable.
But the first night when it dropped down, first or second night when it was down into 40s, oh, man, that's just...
See, the air never kicked on, and the actual temperature in the house still dropped. Because I run my air about 75. If we're feeling a little stuffy, we'll drop it to 74 for a little while. But no air conditioning on at all, and we dropped to about 70 in the house.
Wow, that's pretty good. Well insulated.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, very good insulation. If it's that temperature. Mm-hmm. Did you have windows open?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
all right.
No, but it was like what did it drop down to, like 53 or something?
Yeah, it was like that, or just below. But it was gorgeous out. But all the windows open.
Yeah, the next day the windows were open, but not at night, because that night air is damp.
Yeah, it's good sleeping weather though. I love it when it's that temperature. Just
no, I like the windows closing the air on to sleep.
You do?
Yeah, I've become totally Florida.
Only if it's cold out. When it's cold out, man, I love the windows open and just unless it starts getting down into the high 30s, then it's too much. Then the windows get closed and the heating comes on. But if you're like me, ladies and gentlemen, and you like the windows and doors open, and you don't mind a little bit of cold, and you like to snuggle up or put some blankets or stuff on, then an electric heater is probably what you want to look for. And we'll kind of talk a little bit about the differences. But if you're like me, and I've kind of changed, because I'd say probably about 6 or 7 years ago, I wasn't like that. The air or the heat was on. That was it. So for me then, I needed a heat pump, because I would have my electric bill in the wintertime would have been more than in the summertime, because I would have used the heater costs. An electric heater cost more than running, a lot more than running your air conditioning, 4 to 6 times more the cost. So in the wintertime, I would have my electric bill would have been through the roof, and it would have been just insane. But now it's different. I don't know, maybe just older, heavier. I don't know. Maybe I'm like a bear in hibernation or something, It's not back when I was 40 pounds lighter running the triathlon a couple years ago. Things mattered. So if you're like me, we're going to talk about the differences between why you should have your electric heat and what a heat pump does for you. As you know, we talked about the contractor's exam. We just recently got the new contractor's exam agenda for November 8th. So that'll happen next week. And I think we're starting Christmas Kids on the 12th.
Yes, we are.
So is next Friday the 12th? What's next week?
Monday is the 12th. Monday the 12th is our very first Christmas Kids broadcast.
Well, okay. All right. No problem then. So we'll be doing some different stuff throughout the next couple of weeks, though. But so November 8th, which is when's
full. That would be a full show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that Friday would be a full show. And what day is that? November 8th is a Thursday, right? Yeah. So
there's not a calendar in here.
Yeah. November 8th is a Thursday, because they always have it on a Thursday. So. Because I have the agenda, I'm not going to be able to be at the meeting.
That's Thursday.
So unless they have it uploaded that night and I can watch it that morning when I wake up, I'm probably not going to be able to do that agenda meeting until one of the following couple weeks. Because unfortunately, I'm not able to make it to the actual attendance anymore. So and then they post it online, and it usually takes a day or so to be able to get it online, and that's what I do. I sit there and watch it online, which anybody can watch it. You can either watch it when it's live on Channel 20 if you're in Port St. Lucie, and you can see exactly what's going on with a list of the people that have been accused of doing some unlawful activity in the St. Lucie, the city of Port St. Lucie.
Now, is that's construction across the board?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Just pretty much anything that would require a license is what the inspectors are going out looking for. So as they're driving around, going to inspect places that people have called in inspections, the people that are trying to do things legally, they'll see other things. They'll get phone calls from homeowners or other contractors. That happens all the time. You got 2 or 3 contractors bidding on a job.
Sure.
One guy says, well, I'm not going to do it.
Playing by the rules.
And the other guy says, I'm not going to pull a permit on this. I could save you some money by not pulling a permit. Well, the guy who was going to do it by the rules knows that this other guy doesn't play by the rules, so he sees that he got the job. He drives by, he calls code enforcement right away,
and that hurts in your pocket. So of course it
hurts the customer there. Because now the customer who agreed to a contract with the guy who didn't pull a permit is going to have to make a decision. Well, this guy's going to come to me and say, well, you said you wanted to do this without a license or without a permit. Well, now that I have to pull a permit, you either got to pay me extra money now, or now all these other things he's got to do. Well, because I got to pull a permit, I'm either going to fail now because I didn't factor in that I was going to do this and this and this, because I figured if I wasn't going to pull a permit, I'd get away with it. So I didn't have to put that secondary safety switch in, and I didn't have to strap the unit down outside, and I didn't have to do this, and I didn't have to do that. Oh, well, now
I wasn't going to.
Or I wasn't going to. Exactly.
I just wasn't going
to. So now what happens?
I'm saving you money
because he's being forced. Yeah, he's being forced, and that's how they get the jobs.
Yeah, you're really not saving them anything.
No, it's there's only a few companies out there that their pricing is just astronomically higher because it's just astronomically higher. But your average companies are very seldom far apart in pricing unless something's being left out. Something major is being left out. or they're subcontracting out to somebody who works out of the back of the truck. And most homeowners don't realize that. They don't realize that, XYZ company comes out and sells them their air conditioning system. The next day, a group of guys show up. And maybe they got some T-shirts on that said XYZ air conditioning company or plumbing company or electrical company. Well, they don't think, most people don't think to ask, well, do you work for that company? Are you an employee on the payroll for that company? No, they just assume it. And what happens? Well, they have no liability insurance. They're not licensed. They're not pulling permits. There's a lot of stuff that's not happening. So all kinds of crazy stuff. So questions, comments, suggestions, 340-1590. Remember, you can watch this live, listen to it live. You can go back to the archives. Let's say you, started listening to the show, but you missed something. You had to kind of go back to work. You can go to ComfortTimeLive.com, and down on the bottom left-hand side, you'll see a big screen with the video on there. On the right-hand side at the bottom, you'll actually see all the archive shows that we've done. You can even find us on YouTube. Go on YouTube, type in Comfort Time Live, and gosh, there's 30 shows on there from all the different shows, from Janus Investigations to Elite Electric and Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, and all those companies on there. You'll be able to go back and listen and watch any of them right on YouTube. So even if you forget to go to ComfortTimeLive.com, which is a great site, there's a lot of great places to go there, a lot of great information. There's ways to go in to check contractors' licenses. So if you're not quite sure how to get onto the DBPR's website, go to Comfort Time Live, click on contractors on the left-hand side. When it opens up, there's a big house, and when you click on the house, the different locations, there's actually information. So if you click on the attic, there's information about an attic. If you click on a crawl space, there's information about a crawl space, and all different types of things. There's questions and answers. But email me. My computer went down, so I told you last show that I was going to pull up I was going to download the form if you wanted to have a load calculation done on your house. My computer crashed on me, have no clue what happened to it. I had to go out and buy a new computer. I'm still trying to upload the information.
Isn't it fun starting over?
And I backed everything up onto this big hard drive I have here, but it's actually been a couple months since I did it.
So you lost some stuff.
So like all my financial stuff that's on there that I've updated in the past 3 months, radio show information that I've done in the past 3 months. So I got to bring the laptop itself to the Geek Squad or something like that, and they can actually, if they can't get into the computer, they can actually take the hard drive, download stuff off the hard drive. I just got to tell them what I want specifically. But like all my logos for the radio show, all the information for the website, that stuff's on there because I did some changes in the past few months. So, but we'll get it going. But just go to Comfort Time Live, and now that I got the laptop fixed, I'm going to go in and I'm going to download that form. Just click on that form. You can fill out, email it to me, and I'll be more than happy to do a load calculation on your house, which, remember, that is required by law if you are going to replace your heating and air conditioning system. But it's something that even if 2 or 3 years from now, maybe you want to make some changes to your house. Maybe you want to insulate your house. Maybe you want to change the windows or doors. That's a great way to find out what is going to be the most energy efficient thing that's going to give you the most value. Because if I can do this load calculation for you and I can make changes like what we're doing that day when we did the load
that was actually fun. Yeah,
a good time with that. And well, what if I put R39 insulation in the attic versus the R11 that I have now? How much would that reduce the air conditioning? Well, if you could spend $500 in insulation, well, it's a little bit more than that because I usually think it's like $1 a square foot or something like that. Let's say you spend $1,500 in insulation, but you can reduce the size of your air conditioning system by almost a ton. Well, that not only saves you money on the cost of the new system, but it's going to save you continuous amount of money throughout the days with the lower energy cost on that. So I can do those things for you. So I'll post that up, but just send me an email and we'll go ahead and look at that. I can pull your information up on a property appraiser so I can get the basic dimensions and whatnot of your home. You would just have to tell me what the windows and stuff.
Now, how would it affect the house if you have a new air conditioner based on the way the house is sitting the day that it was put in, and then you decide that you think you need more insulation and you just do that job? How does it affect the air conditioner that you have?
Well,
does it cause you trouble?
Yeah,
or
it could cause you, depending on how severe, how much you increase the insulation.
Mm-hmm.
If you increase it enough where it actually reduces the size of the air conditioning substantially, you can overcool the house too quickly, which will cause humidity issues in the home. So now you'll actually be turning the temperature down lower than you did. And this happens to a lot of folks, that these guys go into these houses and they don't do load calculations on them, and they install these new air conditioning systems, and the customer says, my electric bill's higher than it was, or I have to turn the temperature down lower than I did before in order to keep the house cool. Well, the problem is they probably never did a load calculation, so maybe the homeowner did some additions. They put new windows or doors or insulation. Well, now that air conditioning system, let's say a 4-ton, now it's oversized for that house. So now, of course, the energy is going to go up because the unit is shutting on and off, on and off, on and off more than it should. Even though it's the same tonnage,
right?
It's turning on and off. Well, most motors use 3 times as much power to start up than they do just to run continually. So on top of that, the homeowner's having to turn the temperature down lower because they got to get the humidity down. So they may have kept it at 77 degrees before, but it was at 50% humidity. Well, now at 77 degrees, it's 55 or 60% humidity because the air conditioning system's not running long enough to pull the humidity out.
Okay.
So absolutely.
So before we're even making that $500 investment or so with the insulation, you should find out if it's going to affect your $6,000 or $7,000 air conditioner.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so important. And and I think it's a great thing that they're making it mandatory for these load calculations. But just like we said on the last show, and we're going to take a quick break, is they're doing it just to appease the local authorities. They're not doing it for the purpose of what it should be done for, and that is wrong. You're listening to Comfort Time Live, 340-1590. We'll be right back.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family-owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by ComfortTimeLive. Visit online at EliteElectricAndAir.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Known for helping you keep that spark, now they'll help you keep cool. Elite Electric and Air, the official air conditioning sponsor of Comfort Time Live, has provided the best in heating and cooling customer service since 1988. If your electric bill is costing you more than 12 cents per square foot under air, you may be overpaying the utility company. Elite Electric and Air can help put that cash back in your pocket. Call Elite Electric and Air with 24-hour service. Dial 340-3797. That's 340-3797.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and you're listening to Comfort Time Live. I'd like to say hi to all the friends and acquaintances over Construction Journal. Hope you guys are having a great day. Appreciate all your efforts out there. I tell you, there is a ton of construction going on out there. I'm telling you, I'm seeing it.
That's a good thing.
Publix in Florida, just unreal the amount of stores that this company is building. Just incredible. I'm talking 20, 30, 40 stores just in Florida, throughout the areas in Florida. So that I guess a lot of that probably has to do with Albertsons going belly up.
Yeah, there's very few though. I mean, if you think about it, there may be one Albertsons every here and there. They weren't huge. I mean, Publix is huge here in Florida.
Yeah,
so.
They are, and they're just getting bigger. You know, you got the Whole Foods, but but I tell you,
where is Whole Foods? I want to go there.
Where?
Yeah.
There's one down in West Palm.
Okay.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
They got this deli, and I mean, just it's right in the center, and it's just all this gourmet stuff already pre-made, and yeah.
Because I hate the grocery store, but that looks like, that looks like a nice grocery store.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a little bit different than shopping at Walmart.
Yes, yeah, I avoid Walmart.
Hey, sometimes you got to.
Sorry, Walmart.
So, sometimes you have to. Sometimes you don't have a choice. Just hate those lines. Oh gosh, I'll pay $2-3 more for something.
I don't even want to be in the parking lot.
No, it's and my daughter and I have to go run to the store or something real quick, and we'll be like in our sweatpants and just.
If you're going to Walmart, it doesn't
that's
matter.
What we say to each other. We look at each other, and go,
only Walmart.
I don't feel like changing. Let's go to Walmart.
No cleanup necessary.
Yeah. No, I can't go to Publix looking like this. I got to get cleaned up. I don't feel like
they
changing.
won't let us in.
Oh,
again,
man.
Sorry, Walmart.
Oh, hey, you are. If it
Walks
looks like a duck. Oh gosh. All right, so talking about about your heat and your heat pumps, 340-1590. If you have a question, give us a call. We may do a little trivia question a little bit later on, depending on if we have any audience participation. No audience participation, I'm not going to give you anything. So you better call 340-1590. Now, with the electric heat and the heat pump, what a heat pump is for folks who have maybe just started listening to the show and haven't been listening to us for a while. A heat pump is an air conditioning system that goes in reverse. You have the average one has a unit outside and a unit inside. And the inside unit's called an air handler. Outside unit is called the condenser. Inside the condenser is a compressor. It's like your heart pumps. Well, a heat pump just goes in reverse. So an air conditioning system, what it does is it takes heat from your house by means of conduction, convection, and it dumps it outside. Okay? With a heat pump, it does the opposite. It takes heat from outside and dumps it inside. Well, how could that happen? If it's 40, 50 degrees outside, there's not a lot of heat. Well, believe it or not, there's still tons of heat outside. When you're in your 40s and your 50s, you just have to have the right components to get the heat out of the air and bring it inside. So that's what a heat pump does. And for people who typically will just leave their doors and windows open until it gets down to the 30s or 40s, electric heat strip is perfect for you because the only thing you're going to do is turn it on for a few moments, take the nip off the air.
Take your shower.
Exactly. Turn it on while you take your shower.
And you're done.
You get out, put your robe and stuff on, turn the heater back off, put your flip-flop, your slippers on and everything like that. That's exactly.
Yeah, because you snuggle under covers when you're
exactly. Get that big old blanket down on the couch.
It's the excuse to get the really fluffy blanket out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So you really don't need, the reason being is an electric heater is very inexpensive to install. And in fact, nowadays,
okay, so what would be the difference if I was replacing today?
Most air conditioners are going to come with an electric heater anyway.
The cost between the heat pump and the electric heater?
The electric heater may cost you, if you're calculating the numbers, may cost you as a homeowner $100. Okay, but it's already factored. It's already factored in
into the cost of the air conditioner.
Yeah, it's already factored in because when you buy an air conditioning system from the manufacturer, 99% of all the contractors will say, "Hey, I need a 4-ton unit with a 10 kW heater." Okay, so the distributor ships the heater, the air handler, and the condenser, and ships it to the house. Mm-hmm. When you're looking at a heat pump, it's a whole different story.
Okay,
so. A heat pump, depending on the manufacturer, depending on the tonnage, depending on the efficiency rating, could be $400 to $1,200 additional cost, okay, from just getting the basic electric heater. So you really have to factor in how much am I going to use my heat. Now, there's a certain area from like Vero Beach north that...
But that's the frost line.
It's the frost line,
yeah.
But without fail, heat pumps are probably 80% of the time sold up there. But, and in some areas it's almost mandatory. But we should be asking the homeowner.
But they would be using their heat more than, say, West Palm Beach.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. But it's not necessarily the earth zone or the earth temperature that they're talking about and what it's going to be in that area. It's what the homeowner's needs are. And also now, because of code changes, what the codes are going to allow. That's a big difference. So if you're thinking of replacing your heating and air conditioning system. You have to ask yourself questions. Am I the type of person that likes to open up the doors and windows when it gets like it's been over the past week now, and maybe just put a nice sweater on, some sweatpants, socks, or something like that, snuggle up on the couch, and well maybe Monday morning I turned my heat on for a couple seconds, took the nip off, took a shower like we're saying, then you know what? An electric heater with the air handler and an air conditioning condenser outside is all you're going to need, because you're never going to recuperate your cost on the heat pump if you installed that. Now, some of the issues that will cause us to have to go with a heat pump versus an electric heater now will have necessarily nothing to do with your comfort level. Codes now, the air conditioning manufacturers, their heaters are going to where they're being required to pull about 43 to 45 amps. The other heaters, a couple, I guess 6-7 months ago, were like 7.5 kW heaters, but their amperage was only around 39 to 40. So the code says that you could have used a certain size wire with a certain size breaker and you would have been fine. Well, now that size wire, which is an 8 wire, no longer can be used on that 8 kW heater, because that 8 wire is too small per code now, which is, the code's always been that way, but it's been the manufacturers that are changing their heaters. So now no longer can I use that 8 wire and put that 8 kW heater in. Well, let's say I have a 4-ton unit or a 3.5 ton or a 4-ton. Well, I can't put a big 10 kW heater in, which is what typically we do, at 10 kilowatts. Or 8 kilowatts, because I got an 8 wire. Well, a 4 or 5 ton unit, if I were to put a 5K, which would be the smallest heater I could put in, it would be a drafty air, because I'd have so much air blowing across this heater that
it wouldn't be warm.
It wouldn't be warm at all.
Yeah.
So now, as a homeowner, you're forced to make a decision. I don't have a big enough wire to put the right size heater in. Okay? So how much is it going to cost me, one, to upgrade that wire to a big enough size so that I can put my heater in?
And I'm calling an electrician, right?
You're calling an electrician. Okay. Electricians will come out. You're going to call, give Elite Electric a call. And, they would come out and they would evaluate the circumstances, and they would let you know what's the cost to install a larger wire and a larger breaker. Well, depending on how close or how far away that is, you could look at $300. You could be looking at close to $1,000 to add a larger wire. You may find out that your electrical panel will have to be upgraded as well in order to do that. So, well, now that kind of changes the whole picture, because if a heat pump was going to cost me anywhere between $400 and $1,000 extra, well, I don't need a heat pump because I usually open the doors and windows and I'm comfortable with that. Okay, well, all right, well, let's throw the heat pump out. But now we look at getting an electric heater. Oh, I can't get a big enough electric heater because I don't have a big enough wire. Well, now it's going to cost me $400 to $1,000 possibly to get a bigger wire or a larger breaker so that I can have the right size heater. So now it's just a catch-22. If you are in that position, get the exact costs on both of them, and if they're a lot closer, let's say the electrical wire and the breaker are $400, and let's say the heat pump is $100 at more, so it's $500. Go with the heat pump.
But are they that close? The heat pump?
They can be.
Really?
It all depends on. It all depends on the manufacturer. It all depends on the efficiency rating that you're looking for, and it all depends on the electrical side. If your air conditioner is in the garage and your breaker panel is in the garage, it's probably not going to cost a lot of money, maybe $300 or $400 to run a new wire over per code. You got to pull the permits and everything and put a new breaker in, depending on how much room's in the attic and so on and so forth. So it could be that close. Now, if you're looking at a super duper system that's got all the bells and whistles on it and you want the heat pump version of that, well, it's going to be a lot higher in cost. But if it ends up being that you're in that position and it's only going to be about $100 difference, I would go with the heat pump all day long, because the $100 difference is a lot easier to recuperate your money, get your return on investment.
Yeah, I know when we shopped ours, there was a huge difference between the electric heat and the heat pump, and I bought a Train.
And,
So
yeah.
and there
And
was
that-
and
they're
there was
one
a
of the-
huge
they're one of the
and
reasons.
we don't run heat that much at all.
Right.
So,
So in that instance, now if you went with the Train, because their heaters have changed, and how long ago was it?
about 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
ago. Mhm.
So now, and Train specifically is the one that their heater, on an 8 kW heater, they're drawing 43, 44 amps. You cannot put an 8 kW heater. Now, typically, you would use an 8 kW heater from anything from a 3-ton unit and up, 8 to 10 kW heater. Usually a 1.5, a 2, or a 2.5 ton unit, 5 kW heater would be sufficient because you don't have enough air going across it. You would still get a good temperature difference between. But when you get up into 3, 3.5, and 4 and 5, usually 4 and 5 tons, you're at a 10 kW heater. But you can get away with it if you had an 8K. But the problem here is because the wire size doesn't work anymore with the 8s, you have no choice but to go to a 5. Well, that's just way too small. And well, if you're going to upgrade the wire to a 6 wire, well, then you just might as well go with the biggest heater you can get, which would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the $100 difference when you get to that is, even though it's $100 difference, when you run your heater, it costs 4 to 6 times less to run the heat pump than it does an electric heater. So that $100 may take you only a couple years to recuperate. Versus, like in your case, you guys don't use a lot of heat,
Right. And
So-
and the cost was considerable between
so
the two.
you were looking at $600 or $700 difference. There, even
But if
more,
we were someone who wanted to keep the house at 78 degrees all
Yeah.
winter long, then
you needed a heat pump because your electric bill would just go through the roof.
Sure.
Through the roof. So you really have to. So what the heat pump does is it uses the refrigerant to absorb heat from the outside. Now, the other thing is when you get too far north and you get below freezing quite frequently in the wintertime, heat pumps are not efficient because they cannot, anything usually below 40 degrees, the heat pump has trouble.
it's not finding that warm air outside.
It's not finding as
Okay.
much as it needs. What happens is the coil ends up, because you're pulling air across that coil, you're actually dropping the temperature of the coil. And what happens is that coil will freeze up. And then it goes into what's called a defrost mode. And anybody who has a heat pump, or if you've gone over somebody's house that has a heat pump, and it goes into the heat pump mode, you'll hear this big swishing sound outside. And when it's cold outside, you'll actually see steam coming out of the condensing unit outside, because what happens in the defrost mode is the unit just actually goes in reverse. And it actually runs the air conditioner for just a couple of minutes, because when it's in air conditioning mode, the outside coil is hot. So it turns on the air conditioner. When it does that, it turns on an electric heater that's in the house, okay? And it melts that ice. Then once it melts the ice and gets the temperature back, boom, the air conditioner would shut off. The heat pump outside would come back on, and you wouldn't really even know anything happened. But you just never recuperate the cost, because it just takes way too long when you have when you have a heat pump and you don't use the heat enough to be able to recuperate $500, $600, $700. I mean, you would be replacing your air conditioner before you even came time. It is a good selling tool, but if you're not looking to recuperate your money on it, I wouldn't even worry about it. Now, you have to check with your local code enforcement, especially when we're talking about contractors. I've told you this before, I'll tell you again, don't always trust the contractor that comes into your house. Make sure I know some of the contractors that have been around here since Port St. Lucie started. And you know what? You can't even trust some of them, because it's the people that come out to the house, not necessarily the owner of the company. He may be the greatest guy since sliced bread, but it's his people that work for him that are going out that, they may not look in the electrical panel. People make that mistake. You're in a rush, you walk out, the installer gets there and finds out that the wire's not big enough.
Does he know that, or does he just hook it up anyway?
Well, he'll know that, but then it's a decision of what does he do at that point in time. I've seen some crazy things happen. I've seen some people not hook the heaters up just so that they can get the system going. Well, the inspector is going to catch it, because if the inspector, you're supposed to mark the front of the air handler with what the size heater is. So the inspector's going to walk out. He's going to see 8 kW heater on the front. He's going to look at the wire size, and he's going to look at the breaker size. He's going to say it's a 40 amp breaker with an 8 wire, and the heater's too large for that. He's going to look at the manufacturer specifications, and he's going to fail it. But that's only if they pull a permit. Because if they don't pull a permit, it's not going to be inspected.
Looking.
Nobody's looking, and that's why.
So it gets cold out, and I go to turn my heater on, and I don't have heat.
Oops.
So I'm calling him back.
Yep.
And then he's going to tell me it's going to cost a whole lot more money to get the heat on at my house.
Either that, or he's going to say, well, I can't get out to you today, maybe tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, and so now because that's a free call. He's got to go out there for free. Well, you're supposed to hook that up to begin with. Well, I'm not going to make any money off that call, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go out to the calls that I'm going to make money on first, and I'm going to get those people taken care of. I'll get to you when I can. I'll be there. And he never shows up. Well, here you are, just like these poor people.
And you get frustrated and you call somebody else.
In New York and New Jersey without heat. It's a shame.
And that somebody else then comes out and tells me, well, the other guy didn't do this, and he didn't do this, and he didn't do this, and now it's going to cost you more money.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Ounce of prevention worth a pound of cure. That's why I say, do your homework. Never sign a contract the same day. Do your homework. Make sure what they're doing is the right thing. Give us a call, 340-1590. We're going to go ahead and take another quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have some trivia for you, even though you didn't participate. I'll let you slide this one time. 340-1590. You're listening to Comfort Time Live. We'll be right back.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Woogie, 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 woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family-owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by ComfortTimeLive. Visit online at EliteElectricAndAir.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Known for helping you keep that spark, now they'll help you keep cool. Elite Electric and Air, the official air conditioning sponsor of Comfort Time Live, has provided the best in heating and cooling customer service since 1988. If your electric bill is costing you more than 12 cents per square foot under air, you may be overpaying the utility company. Elite Electric and Air can help put that cash back in your pocket. Call Elite Electric and Air with 24-hour service. Dial 340-3797. That's 340-3797.
Political stories of the day.
All right, welcome back to Comfort Time Live. I'm Tom Platani, and today we're talking about electric heat versus a heat pump. What's best for you? And we're talking about this because the temperature's dropping out a little bit, and you may be thinking to yourself, since it's so nice out, maybe this is a good time to maybe think about replacing my heating and air conditioning system. Well, before you start thinking about doing that, get yourself a heat load calculation done on your house. Give me an email at comforttimelive@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to do the load calculation. Only charge $50. Very detailed, time-consuming, and what I could do is that's actually the legal document that would go to the permitting office. Now, the only thing that would have to be added to that is whatever air conditioning system that's chosen at the time. But that would be the official document for the Air Conditioning Contractors Association, the writes off Manual J, that would go to the city. But also it's a good tool for you because we can tweak it. So you can give me a call, and while I'm doing the load calculation, we can tweak the load calculation. And, well, what about if we added double pane windows? What'll that do? And what if we added, another 12 inches of insulation, or, things of that nature? They make a difference. So you really need to, it's really something that should be done. But also, a lot of these air conditioning companies, and I'm going to tell you probably 90% of these air conditioning companies are doing these load calculations generically. They're not doing them at your house at the time that they're out there. They're installing what's in your home, and then they're manipulating the load calculation to fit what they install in the home. That's not good, okay? Yeah, you know what? A broken clock's right twice a day. So maybe it is a 3-ton unit that's in there, and maybe when you do the load calculation, it comes out to a 3-ton. But, for $50, is it better to know than to spend an extra $1,000 for something that you don't need, and then also the energy cost down the road? All right, so let's get to the trivia question. The first person to get this right wins a one-time heating and air conditioning tune-up by Elite Electric and Air Conditioning. And they'll come out to your home. They do just an outstanding world-class tune-up on your heating and air conditioning system. And while they're there, they'll take a look around and see if there's anything else that might need to be brought to the attention. But just give us a call here at 340-1590. Here's the trivia question. Bees have how many eyes? Bees have how many eyes? Now, I'll give you a couple tries here first before I give you an A, B, and C. But bees have how many eyes? Give us a call, 340-1590, and you can win a free one-time heating and air conditioning tune-up. Or, if let's say you want to get your electrical inspected now, because we're talking about replacing the electric heater versus a heat pump. Maybe we could do that. They can come out to your house, they can give you a tune-up, or they can look at the electrical circuits to make sure that you have the sufficient wiring size to put the right size heater in your home, which could end up saving you a lot of money. So 340-1590. Now, if you turn now, the other thing that can be happening too is I know some people have emailed me and said that their electric heat, their air conditioning is costing them a lot of money with the electric heat. What's happening is the electric heat is getting stuck on while it's running in the air conditioning mode, which is causing the electric bill to go up. So that's one issue that can typically happen, especially now that you're going to turn your electric heat on. Maybe you haven't used it in a while. So boom, we go and turn the electric heat on, and the relays and stuff that are inside, okay, we're activating these relays. Well, maybe they're kind of old and they haven't been used in a while.
So we're heating and cooling at the same time?
Heating and cooling at the same time. And you'll notice a little bit of a temperature difference, but when you will notice it, most people don't notice it till they get their electric bill. And it's like, oh?
Well, I would think it would never turn off. I mean, it would be battling itself the whole time.
It does. It runs for a long time. The air conditioning will outdo the heater.
Okay.
But it will. It'll run. But remember, your air conditioning system is sized for the hottest day to get down to 75 degrees. So if it's 80 degrees outside and I'm running my air conditioner and my electric heat strip's coming on, I may not know that much difference because
it's hot outside.
Even though it may be reducing, let's say that electric heater is taking a whole ton of air conditioning off. Let's say it's a 4-ton system. Well, let's say the electric heat's causing it to only run as a 3-ton system. Well, if I only need 2/3 of the capacity because it's 80 degrees outside to get the house down, I'm really not going to know much of a difference until I get my electric bill. And that's when people typically find out. So having your heating and your heater checked now is a really good time. It should be checked when they're doing the air conditioning inspection. But I tell you, once again, 70 to 80% of the air conditioning companies that go out to these homes, they do not inspect the heater when they're doing the air conditioning inspection. Should always check that. Because some of those relays in there, even though you're using the air conditioning, some of those relays still got power going to them. And they might be always off, but a lot of times that they can activate and they can cause problems even in the middle of the summertime. So a good air conditioning company should be checking the heater as well. and that's very important. But if you're going to turn it on, of course, you're going to most likely get that smell. But you got to be sure that it's not sticking. So make sure you get a company coming out there, take a look at it, make sure everything's clean, that there's no issues with the electric heat strip. All right, so give us a call to answer that trivia, 340-1590 for your one-time heating and air conditioning checkup. It's a good time to do it now. And the question was, bees have how many eyes? If we don't get a call here in a couple seconds, I'm going to go ahead and give you some options. Maybe that'll help freshen up your minds. So don't forget, you can go to ComfortTimeLive.com. You can watch any of the previous shows that we've had. You can also email me right from there. Let's say you forgot that it's ComfortTimeLive@gmail.com. You can go there. My cell phone number's on there. I've actually had quite a few people calling me lately, and I've actually passed a few of them over to Elite Electric and Air Conditioning. They had some concerns, some issues going on, so I gave the number to Elite Electric and Air, and taking really good care of the clients out there. And I have been pleased. I haven't heard any complaints from anybody. Everybody makes a mistake once in a while, but I haven't heard any concerns or complaints from any of the listeners. I know that a lot of listeners have been giving them a call. John and his daughter Jessica and his wife Jackie, just great people. Like I said, John has really been a part of the community, so he's involved. He knows what's going on out there. He does things by the book, so you can be sure that if you do use them, that you're not going to have any issues down the road when it comes time to sell your house, that, oh, well, this wasn't permitted or this wasn't done right. So, and I respect that when somebody stands behind their work like that. Are they going to be the cheapest out there? No. Are they going to be the most expensive? Absolutely not. But they're going to do it right. And like you hear on the commercial, if you're running at more than 12 cents per square foot on your electric bill, and you might have an issue, and you should probably have them take a look at it. And since they do electrical and air conditioning, well, they're going to basically cover both ends of that.
Unless you own like a plasma TV or something.
No, they shouldn't draw a lot of it.
I think plasmas do.
Unless it's one of those 4 foot deep. Unless it's one of those 4 foot deep projection TVs.
I think they told us that when we were looking for a new TV years back.
That they draw more or
really,
a lot?
A lot. They draw. Yeah, then they throw heat.
Oh, okay.
I think plasma throws heat. So.
Because I know they always have on the side of them, they have the little energy level. But
I don't. Do they have the the Energy Star? Do TVs come with Energy Stars?
Yeah. A lot of TVs. And then they even have the ratings on the side.
Because I know it's like when you buy a dryer, there's no way you're getting an Energy Star. It's a dryer.
No, they have Energy Star dryers.
Really?
Absolutely. You seen those new dryers they have out? There's like steam and the washers are
Well, I'm
steam.
thinking there's no way it could be saving you energy. It's a dryer.
Well, it doesn't mean that it's saving you energy. It just means that the energy
better than the others.
That it's better, right? It's
rated better than the others. Okay.
Like air conditioning has to be a certain.
Are there any Energy Star air conditioners?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Oh, absolutely.
I had no idea.
You have to meet a certain code to be Energy Star approved.
Okay.
I for some reason I want to say 15. But I forget, maybe I forget what that number is. But no, I mean, just about everything has an Energy Star rating to it. Just a matter that they set a standard for that.
Okay.
And then as long as that product meets that standard, then it gets an Energy Star. Oh yeah, at everything. Washers,
I thought there
dryers.
were like your water heater. There's no way.
So bees have how many eyes? Option A is 1, 3, or 5. So bees have how many eyes?
Interesting that those are all odd numbers.
Yeah. Well, it's an odd question. Bees have how many eyes? 340-1590. Is it 1, 3, or 5? Give us a call and you can be the winner. Now, remember, this is a trivia from the Best Trivia Book Ever by Jane Flynn, who graciously provided that so we could use it on the show. Now, next week, we're going to have some shows coming up. We're going to be, we might be doing some stuff on the Contractors Exam Board. Like I said, we'll see how that goes, see if they get it up and running quick enough. If they don't, then we'll go to Plan B. I don't know what Plan B is yet.
You'll have to cram that night for all the information.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be that night or early in the morning. I'm going to have to get up extra early.
Get busy.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how long. Now that they're doing them every month, they're not that long. They're about running close to about an hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour. I think last month's was like 53 minutes or or was it an hour and 53 minutes or something like that. But I mean, when they were doing them, once every 2 months, I mean, some of them were going 2-3 hours. That one I went to was almost a 4-hour meeting, and it was just insane. So I mean,
you'd like to hope that the time is getting shorter too, because more people are compliant.
No, that's why they had to go to more, because people aren't being compliant. They have so many of them that they had to go from, because there were so many people they were taking, and these people that sit on the board, a majority of them, they're doing this voluntarily. So for you to take 4 hours out of your day, and you're a business person, you're the owner of a company, that's pretty difficult. So they cut them back to once a month. Now they're running about an hour, hour and a half. But no, you're still filling up that time with 5, 6, 7, 8 every single month. And that's not even scratching the surface.
Sure. Yeah, those are the ones that just got caught.
And that's just the city of St. Lucie. That's not the county. That's not Martin. That's not Fort Pierce. I mean, and that's just not the one. I mean, they just, my wife texted me over this morning that the Today Show just had a big thing on unlicensed contractors. And all the stuff.
Well, that's going to be a big subject now, because they have what we had years ago.
Yeah. What did they call? What they call that? Not price gouging, but price gouging.
Yeah, but that you know that anyone,
especially in New York,
anyone with a hammer is headed that way.
There's no illegal activity going on in New York.
But see, it's a lot. It's a lot of business, so it's going to draw a lot of good people.
You probably have people from Florida. These unlicensed guys, they're already on their way.
Yeah,
they're already up there. They were following the track of the hurricane.
They stocked up on shingles here and drove them up in a trailer.
They had their sails up there as the wind was blowing that direction.
We come to fix your roof. What color are the shingles? It's all gray. We got one color.
Oh, well, we didn't get any callers on the trivia question. We'll give it another second, but
so tell us.
It's 1, 3, or 5. Bees have how many eyes? It's 5. Bees have 5 eyes. Everybody's probably sleeping, or they're watching.
That's so when you swat, you never catch. You see how when you swat, they always get away?
That's flies.
Bees.
No, I hit bees more than I hit flies.
Yeah. Well, they have more eyes.
There you go. Flies or bees?
Flies.
They just have big eyes, don't they?
Yeah, but they're within those eyes. They have many. Yeah,
looks freaky.
That's why you could never swat them and catch them.
Unless
you're very
Mr.
skilled.
Miyagi catching with the chopsticks.
We're about out of time.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for listening to Comfort Time Live. Don't forget to go to ComfortTimeLive.com, and we'll be back next week right around the same time. All right. You have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy this beautiful weather.